I've been coming to this show for a number of years. I remember I was still a student, and a lot has changed. A lot has changed since then. Now we're talking more about passenger engagement when the airline or the caterer or the onboard hospitality provider does not only elect to project one, two, three, five elements to the passenger, but also expect a response back. In other words, we move from one-way kind of communication to two-way communication. So the receiver, which is in this case is the passenger, is also reflecting back to what he or she gets, whether it is a menu, whether it is onboard service, brand experience on board in terms of the physical experience of the seat, the carpet, and all that. So a lot is changing and a lot is becoming personalized and a lot more attention to detail. So as we keep having more and more passengers on board, and particularly in select parts of the world, then a lot more things and a lot more trends are going to be changing. Especially how we see growth in Asia, Middle East, as well as how traditional markets in Europe and North America evolving. All what they're actually interested about is the value proposition and how this is actually packaged. For example, you may have a passenger that elects to fly with a low-cost airline, yet he or she decides to spend $20, $30 on a champagne bottle and get some specific snacks that he or she prefers. And also we have the passenger that elects to fly, premium and basically have the whole package of what a business or first class entails. So it's basically a little bit of both, depending on the culture and the identity of the passenger and also the generation they're coming from. I know there's a lot of discussion about millennials and a lot of discussion about, all the generations following those, which are very in tune with what's happening, as well as they have much more increased expectations from airlines and onboard hospitality providers from what they could actually see on board. And if it's not there, they're probably going to bring it with them or buy it or try to customize the experience themselves. I have experience working with regulators such as International Transport Association, IATA, as well as associations that work on the passenger side, such as AIX, the Airline Passenger Experience Association, and IFSA, the International Flight Service Association. So I see myself as the middleman between associations and regulators and passengers and airlines. Basically, I'm between that triangle. So I've had experience working in a number of airlines, regulators, also opportunity to talk and work with Boeing, Airbus as manufacturers and regarding the onboard experience, and airlines regarding what the passenger actually sees and feels. Done some latest work with American Airlines and Delta on onboard hospitality, menu and meal design, and lately working with Amtrak with regards to the onboard passenger experience. It's important to actually bring together all the different voices of the industry. We have a lot to learn from one another. B, we're all talking about a seamless experience, and if we really want a true seamless experience, all the way from getting to the airport or the train station to getting on board to enjoying the journey and then getting off a station or an airport terminal and gathering our bags and all that. There's so many different players that need to make it right. So yeah, the important thing of having different voices of the industry here, all the way from onboard hospitality and food and beverage and our aircraft interiors and the hard product, all the way to passenger experience, is to make that experience for the passenger actually better, and actually a truly seamless experience. Um, this sometimes has been difficult because there's so many different languages used in the industry. You have the engineer, you have the marketeer, you have the designer, you have the cost engineer that is trying to save weight. So sometimes we get lost in translation and trying to figure out, how we can actually make sense of all this. But this is totally doable if we meet and talk and we come to places and conferences and expos like this one. So that's one of the primary reasons why it's important to be here. Keeps getting better and better, and I can't wait for the 2020 show.